Snow fell in thick sheets over the village of Norvon. It turned the wooden houses into quiet shapes covered by heavy white blankets. The wind screamed through cracks and closed windows. It was so cold that bare skin could freeze in just a few seconds. The village sat 3 kilometers from the border that 2 countries were fighting over. It sat on a mountain pass that controlled an important supply road through the area where fighting was happening. Aria Hale pulled her scarf tighter against the wind. She tried not to think about how much she did not belong here. At 18, she was the youngest member of the International Special Operations Unit sent from Orvon. Everyone knew it. The others had years of fighting experience. Aria had only 8 months of training and a test score that had surprised even her teachers. "Keep your head down and stay out of the way," Staff Sergeant Marcus Brennan told her when she arrived 2 days ago. He was not being mean, just honest. It was the kind of honesty that came from experience. Commander Vincent Keller ran the operation with quiet focus. He had barely talked to Aria, except to say hello when she arrived. The mission briefing had been simple: set up a defensive position, protect civilians, and keep control of the supply route. But the weather had made everything very hard. A huge blizzard was coming. Helicopters could not fly, and they were cut off from getting more supplies. Aria walked around the edge of the village with Brennan. Their boots crunched through snow that went up to their knees. The village looked peaceful. Smoke rose from chimneys. Warm light glowed behind windows. But there was tension underneath. "You shoot much before training?" Brennan asked, breaking the silence. "My brother taught me," Aria said. "Started when I was 12. Brother served as a Marine sniper for 3 tours." She paused. "Killed in action 16 months ago." Brennan looked at her with something that might have been respect. "That is why you are here." "That is why I am here," she confirmed. In her pack, wrapped in waterproof plastic, she carried Nathan's field notebook. It had hundreds of pages of notes, math, and hard-won wisdom about reading wind, judging distance, and staying alive when someone else was hunting you through a scope. She had read every page so many times she could say parts from memory. The best shot is the one you do not have to take. Nathan had written on the first page. But when you do take it, make it count. One shot can change everything. Aria had joined the military to understand what he'd been through, to walk the same path he had walked. She had never expected to find herself in a real war zone so soon, surrounded by veterans who looked at her and saw a kid playing soldier. The wind shifted, carrying a sound that made Brennan freeze. Aria stopped beside him, listening. Nothing but wind through empty streets, but Brennan's hand had moved his rifle, and his eyes looked over the tree line beyond the village. "Something wrong?" Aria asked. "Maybe," Brennan said. "Maybe nothing. But in places like this, you learn to trust your gut." He presses radio. "Keller, this is Brennan. We might have activity on the north approach." Keller's voice crackled back. "Confirmed. Thermal picked up movement 10 minutes ago. Could be locals. Could be scouts. Everyone back to base now." They moved quickly through the snow. Aria struggled to keep up with Brennan's pace. By the time they reached the central command post, a strong stone building that used to be the village hall, the rest of the team was already getting ready. Keller stood over a map, his face serious. "Satellite shows a force moving toward us from the north and east. We think there are at least 60 fighters, maybe more. They are using the storm as cover." "We have got 20 operators," said Lieutenant Emma Crawford, Keller's second in command. "Even with defensive advantage, those are not good odds." "We hold the village," Keller said firmly. "Civilians cannot leave in this weather. They would freeze before they made it 5 kilometers. We dig in and hold until the storm stops and we can get air support." Aria watched the veterans get ready with practiced skill. She had trained for moments like this, but training felt different from reality. In training, the enemy did not actually want to kill you. "Hale," Keller said, looking at her for the first time. "You are on supply distribution and casualty prep. Stay in the command post and keep your head down. If we need you for anything else, someone will tell you." "Yes, sir," Aria said. She understood the reason. Put the new soldier somewhere she could not get anyone killed. It hurt, but she could not argue with it. "Not yet," The attack came at 0300 hours when darkness and falling snow made it impossible to see. Aria woke up suddenly at the first explosion, a mortar round that sent a column of fire into the black sky. She grabbed her rifle and ran toward the command post as more explosions followed. They were organized and accurate. All positions report. Keller's voice cut through the chaos on the radio. The responses came back one by one. Short confirmations that the defensive line still held. Crawford burst in, snow covering her gear. They have cut communications, jamming our signals, and the landlines are down. We are alone. Keller's expression did not change. Expected. We go to backup plans. How many civilians still in the village? About 40, Crawford said. Families with young children. They are hiding in basements. Another explosion. Closer. Aria felt the building shake. Through the window, she saw muzzle flashes, organized gunfire targeting specific positions. Keller pulled everyone to the map. We group here at the village center, fighting positions in a 300-meter circle. They moved out into the howling wind. Aria followed, assigned to help set up a place to treat wounded people. As she ran through the snow, she saw her first look at real combat. Tracer bullets cutting through darkness. Grenades. Soldiers moving while the world exploded around them. Then she heard the screaming. A family. Mother, father, 2 children running through the snow, trying to reach safety. They had panicked when their house caught fire. The mother carried the youngest child while the father pulled the older boy. They were completely out in the open. Aria did not think. She ran toward them, grabbed the older child. This way, she shouted. Follow me. Gunfire came from the darkness. Aria felt bullets crack past her head and saw snow fly up where bullets hit. She pushed the family toward cover, her body between them and the shooters, not because she was brave, but because she could not stop moving. They reached the basement entrance. Brennan was there, shooting back to cover them. He grabbed Aria's collar and pushed her down the stairs. What the hell were you thinking out there? They would have died. Aria gasped. So would you. But Brennan's expression was not angry, just tired. You did good. Hale. Stupid, but good. The battle went on through the night. Aria worked in the basement, helping treat small wounds and keeping children calm while their parents fought or prayed upstairs. She learned that fear was not one thing. It was layers. Fear of dying, fear of others dying, fear of failing, fear of the fear itself. By dawn, the enemy had pushed the defensive line back to a 3-block area. The special operations team had taken casualties. 2 wounded, none dead. But that would change if the pressure kept up and the storm was getting worse, not better. Keller gathered the team in the command post. Everyone looked exhausted, faces tired and eyes empty from hours of fighting. They are testing us, he said, probing for weak spots. The real attack comes next. What about our sniper position? Crawford asked. Johnson still on the church tower? Keller shook his head. Johnson took a bullet through the shoulder an hour ago. He is down. The room went quiet. Johnson had been their eyes, the lookout that let them see enemy movements before they became threats. Without him, they were fighting without being able to see. I can take the position, said Corporal David Martinez, one of their best shooters. You are needed on the north barricade, Keller said. Everyone is needed everywhere. He studied the map, and Aria saw something she had not seen before in his expression. Uncertainty. She found herself speaking before she could stop. Sir, I could watch from the tower. Just looking, not shooting. Give you information on enemy positions. Every head turned toward her. Brennan started to object, but Keller held up a hand. You trained as a marksman, Hale? My brother was a Marine sniper. Sir, he taught me. I scored expert in training. Passing a test is different from combat. I know, sir, but you need eyes on the tower, and everyone else is busy. Let me try. Keller studied her for a long moment. She looked back at him without looking away, even though her heart was pounding against her ribs. Observation only, he finally said. You spot movement. You report it. You do not shoot unless I tell you to. Clear. Yes, sir. Brennan. Gare set up and explained the position. Keller turned back to the map, already working on the next problem. As Aria followed Brennan out, she saw Crawford's expression, worry mixed with respect. The church tower rose 30 meters above the village center. It was an old stone building that had stood for 200 years. Brennan led her up the spiral stairs, past broken stained glass and fallen wood. The higher they climbed, the worse the wind got. It screamed through gaps in the stone and carried snow that stung like needles. Position is at the top, Brennan said. Johnson set up behind a northern window. Best view of the approach roads. He paused at the top of the stairs. You see something, you call it in right away. Do not try to be a hero. I will not, Aria promised. Brennan studied her. Your brother. He'd tell you what it is like up in a hiding spot, watching people through a scope. He said it was the loneliest job in the military. Aria said, because you see everything, but you are completely alone with the decision. He was right. Brennan put his hand on her shoulder. Stay alive, Hale. That is the most important thing. Then he was gone, and Aria was alone in the tower with the wind and the snow and Nathan's rifle. She had brought his weapon with her. A custom M40 that Nathan had rebuilt piece by piece. The military had given it back to their mother after his death, and Aria had carried it through every training exercise. It felt right having it here, like Nathan was watching. Aria got into position behind the window, the scope cold against her cheek. Through the falling snow, she could see the village spread below. Defensive positions marked by sandbags and walls. Civilians hiding in basements. Her teammates moving through the streets. And beyond the village, in the tree line to the north, she saw movement. Not random. Organized. Soldiers moving with purpose. She pressed her radio. Command, this is Hale. I have eyes on about 20 people coming from the north. They are using the storm to hide. They are spreading out for a planned attack. Confirmed, Keller responded. Keep watching. Call out any changes. Aria settled in and did exactly that, feeling the weight of responsibility and the ghost of her brother's voice in her mind. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just watch and wait. Information saves lives. But what she did not know, what none of them knew yet, was that watching would not be enough. The attack began at noon when the storm was at its worst. Aria watched through her scope as enemy forces came out from many directions. They used the blizzard perfectly, attacking when visibility dropped to almost nothing, retreating when it cleared. Command, heavy movement on the eastern approach, Aria reported. Confirmed, Keller replied. Then everything changed. Aria was scanning the northern area when she saw the muzzle flash, bright and clear, coming from a collapsed barn 600 meters away. A split second later, Brennan's voice crackled on the radio, tight with pain. Sniper in the north. His transmission cut off. Brennan is hit, someone shouted. Need medic at position 3. Aria swung her scope toward the barn, searching for the shooter. She could not see him. Whoever he was, he knew how to hide, but she could see what he was doing. Every time one of her teammates tried to move, bullets cracked past them. The enemy sniper was keeping an entire section trapped by himself. Command, we need to take out that sniper, Martinez said over the radio. I can try to go around. Negative, Keller interrupted. You move in this weather, you are dead. Everyone holds position. But holding position meant slowly losing. Aria watched as enemy forces pushed closer, taking advantage of the gaps created by the sniper. Minutes passed. Then Martinez's voice came again, calmer now, but with a final tone. Command, I'm going to try a shot, if I can get him to show himself. Martinez, stand down, Keller ordered. Sir, with respect, if we do not. The crack of a powerful rifle cut through the radio noise. Then silence. Martinez is down, Crawford reported, her voice flat. Single shot, center mass. He is gone. The words hit Aria like a punch. Martinez, who had shared coffee with her that morning, was dead. All positions. Fall back to secondary defensive line, Keller ordered. Execute tactical withdrawal. Now! Aria watched through her scope as her team retreated under fire, leaving positions behind. The enemy sniper fired twice more, both shots missing, but forcing defenders to take longer paths through open areas. They were being slowly taken apart. "Command, this is Hale," Aria transmitted, her voice steadier than she felt. "I have height and clear view to the enemy sniper position. Request permission to shoot." The radio was silent for 3 seconds that felt like hours. "Hale, you're not allowed to shoot," Keller said. "Hold your position for watching only." "Sir, he is killing us." "I am aware. But sending a new shooter against a trained sniper is suicide. You stay put and keep reporting enemy movements." "That is an order." Aria wanted to argue, but she had been in the military long enough to know when an order was final. She went back to watching, feeling helpless as the defensive area got smaller and enemy forces moved into positions they had held just hours before. The church tower shook as a mortar round hit somewhere close. Dust and broken stone fell from the ceiling. Aria steadied herself and kept looking. Then she saw him. Just for a moment, maybe 2 seconds. The wind shifted the falling snow, creating an opening in visibility. Through that opening, Aria's scope caught a figure in white winter camouflage, moving in the barn's upper level. She saw the special shape of a Dragunov rifle. She saw the way he moved with complete confidence. He knew no one could touch him. Aria's hands moved on instinct, adjusting for height and wind, accounting for the drop over 600 meters and the strong crosswind. Her breathing slowed, controlled, just like Nathan had taught her. Through the scope, she could see the enemy sniper settling back into position, searching for his next target. Her finger rested on the trigger. 1 pound of pressure. That is all it would take. "You do not shoot unless I specifically order it." Keller's words echoed in her mind. If she fired without permission, she would face punishment, probably get pulled from the tower, maybe sent home in disgrace. But if she did not fire, more people would die. Through the scope, she saw the enemy sniper find a target, saw him begin the process of lining up a shot that would kill someone else she had trained with, worked with, maybe even shared a meal with. Aria made her decision. "God, forgive me," she whispered and squeezed the trigger. The rifle kicked against her shoulder. Through the scope, she saw the enemy sniper jerk backward, his rifle falling from the window. For a moment, she could not breathe, could not think. She could only stare at what she had done. Then the radio exploded with voices. "Who fired that shot?" "Confirm the sniper is down." "I saw him fall." "Command, enemy sniper is neutralized." "Repeat, neutralized." Keller's voice cut through the chaos. "Hale, did you just shoot without permission?" "Yes, sir," Aria said. "I had a clear shot. I took it." Silence. Then, confirm target status. Aria scanned the barn through her scope. The enemy sniper had not moved. "Target down, sir." No movement. More silence. Aria waited for the order to leave her position, for Keller's anger. Instead, she heard something that sounded like respect. "Good shot, Hale. Hold position and continue watching. We will discuss the rule breaking later." A pause. "If we survive..." Crawford's voice came next, and Aria could hear the smile in it. "All positions, we have lookout again. Let us take back what we lost." The battle's direction shifted right away. With the enemy sniper gone, defenders could move freely again, coordinate fire, push back against the attack. Aria watched it happen through her scope. Her teammates moving forward with new confidence. Enemy forces falling back under organized pressure. She had done that. One shot. One decision. One moment that changed everything. But as the excitement faded, Aria started shaking. She had just killed someone. Not in training. Not in theory. Actually ended a life. Her hands trembled on the rifle, and her breath came in short gasps. One shot can change everything. Nathan had written. He had been right. But he had never written about what it felt like after. The battle continued into the afternoon, but things had really changed. Without their sniper, enemy forces lost their ability to keep key areas pinned down. Keller's team used that advantage hard, taking back defensive positions. Aria provided lookout the whole time, calling out targets and helping coordinate fire. She did not shoot again. Did not need to. By 1600 hours, the attack had failed. Enemy forces pulled back to regroup, leaving the village beaten up but still in friendly hands. Aria climbed down from the tower. Her legs were shaky from hours of not moving. Brennan met her at the bottom, his left arm in a sling, but otherwise okay. Heard you disobeyed a direct order, he said. Yes, Sergeant. Also heard you dropped that guy at 600 meters in almost whiteout conditions. He studied her. Hell of a shot, Hale. I got lucky, Aria said, though she knew that was not completely true. Luck helped, but Nathan's training had made the difference. All those hours practicing, all those lessons about reading wind through falling snow, judging distance by memory when you could not see. Luck matters, Brennan said, but so does skill. Martinez was one of our best, and he could not make that shot. His expression softened. He will be proud of you. We all are. The word should have felt good. Instead, they made Aria's chest tight. I killed someone today. You saved several people today, Brennan corrected. That sniper had 3 confirmed kills before you got him. Would have been more if you had waited for permission. He pointed toward the command post. Come on, Keller wants to see you. They found a commander looking at damage reports with Crawford. Both looked exhausted. Their faces were lined with stress and the kind of tiredness that came from too many hours making life and death decisions. Keller looked up as Aria entered. Private Hale, I should punish you officially for disobeying a direct order in combat. Yes, sir, Aria said, standing straight. I am not going because you saved lives and changed the direction of this fight. He stood, moving around the table to face her directly. But let me be very clear. You do not get to make those choices. Not as a private. Not in my command. Chain of command exists for a reason. Understood? Yes, sir. It will not happen again. See that it does not. Keller's expression changed slightly. That said, Crawford showed me the shooting data. 600 meters, 30-kilometer crosswind. Target partly hidden. That is a shot most trained snipers would not try. How did you make it? Aria pulled Nathan's notebook from her pocket. The plastic covering was worn from being handled so much. My brother kept detailed notes on wind reading, height calculations, accounting for temperature and air pressure. He said the math was just a foundation. The real skill was learning to feel the shot before you took it. Keller took the notebook, flipping through pages of drawings, formulas, and handwritten notes. Your brother was Nathan Hale. Yes, sir. I knew him, Keller said quietly. Worked with his unit in Afghanistan 2022. He was one of the best. He handed the notebook back. He would be proud of what you did today. The words broke something loose in Aria's chest. She nodded, not trusting herself to speak. Crawford stepped forward. Johnson's injury is serious enough that he cannot continue for the rest of this mission. We need someone in that tower when the next attack comes. Based on what you showed today, I am recommending you for the position. I am not qualified, Aria said automatically. You qualified yourself when you made that shot, Crawford replied. Training and papers matter, but so does how you do under pressure. You prove you can handle both. Keller nodded. You will stay in the tower for the rest of this operation. Brennan will work with you on tactics and coordination. But Hale, he waited until she met his eyes. Next time you ask permission before shooting. Clear. Christo, sir. Dismissed. Get some food and rest. Next attack is coming in a few hours. Aria saluted and left, her mind spinning. Less than 24 hours ago, she had been the new rookie nobody trusted. Now she was their main lookout, responsible for protecting an entire defensive area. The weight of it settled onto her shoulders like physical pressure. She found a quiet corner in one of the shelters and opened Nathan's notebook, reading entries he had made during his deployments. His handwriting was neat, each letter formed carefully, even in combat conditions. Day 47. Made a shot today that saved a convoy. 3 enemy fighters, 800 meters, moving targets. Felt good in the moment. Felt sick later. Nobody tells you that part. They talk about the skill, the accuracy, the importance of the mission, but they do not talk about the faces you see when you close your eyes. The weight that builds up with each confirmed kill. Mom asks in her letters if I am okay. I tell her yes because that is what she needs to hear. But the truth is more complicated. I am doing necessary work. I am protecting people who cannot protect themselves. And some nights that is enough. Other nights it is not. If you are reading this, little sister, and knowing you probably are, understand that every shot comes with a price. The question is not whether you can make the shot. It is whether you can live with making it. Aria closed a notebook and stared at the ceiling, listening to the wind howl outside. She could still see the enemy sniper falling. She could still feel the rifle kick against her shoulder. That image would be with her forever. But she could also see Martinez's face, Brennan's relief, the civilians huddled safe in their shelters because she had made a choice. Nathan was right. Every shot had a price. The question was whether the cost was worth paying. Aria decided it was. Then she forced herself to eat and rest because in a few hours she would be back in that tower. And next time there would not be any question about whether she would pull the trigger. The storm got stronger as night fell, turning Norvon into a frozen maze. Aria returned to the church tower at 2,100 hours, this time with Brennan teaching her lookout rules. You will work in 4-hour shifts, Brennan explained as they climbed. Any longer and freezing becomes a problem. He brought extra equipment, thermal blankets, chemical warmers, insulated gloves. At the top, Aria settled into Johnson's old position. Someone had made it stronger. Sandbags, a heat-blocking cover, even a small camping stove. Keller had this set up after your shot, Brennan said. Figured if we're going to keep someone up here, we should do it right. He showed her the communication setup. Main radio, backup radio, signal flares of electronics stop working. You see anything unusual, you report it right away. Do not try to handle problems alone. Understood, Sergeant. Brennan paused at the stairs. Hale, earlier when you made that shot, you paused before firing. I saw it through the binoculars. Aria met his gaze. I was thinking about the order not to shoot. But you fired anyway. Yes, Sergeant. I made a choice. Good, Brennan said. Because in this job, you will face that choice again. Rules and reality do not always match in combat. The people who survive are the ones who can tell the difference. He started down the stairs, then stopped. Your brother, he ever tell you about the hardest shot he made? No, Sergeant. He did not talk much about details. Ask him if you get the chance. Might help you understand what you're getting into. Brennan disappeared down the stairwell, leaving Aria alone with her rifle in the storm. She positioned herself behind Nathan's M40, the scope cold despite the heaters. Through the heat sensing system, she could see warm shapes moving in the village, friendly forces on patrol, civilians huddled around fires in their shelters. Beyond the edge of the village, the forest showed nothing but steady cold and falling snow. The enemy was out there. Aria could feel it the way her brother had described. A kind of sixth sense developed through hours of watching, waiting, learning to recognize patterns in chaos. At 2,247 hours, her feeling proved correct. Command, this is Hale. I am picking up heat signatures in the northern forest, about 800 meters out. Count is 15, maybe 20 people. They are holding position, not moving forward. Keller's voice came back right away. Confirmed. Crawford's team is tracking same signatures on thermal. They are getting ready for something. Wanting to take shots. Aria asked. Negative. Distance is too far, and we do not want to show your exact position yet. They know we have a sniper. They do not know it is you or exactly where you are. That is an advantage worth keeping. Copy that, sir. The waiting began. Aria watched the heat signatures shift and reorganize, recognizing the patterns of the unit getting ready to attack. They were being careful, which meant they had learned from their earlier failure. This time, they would come with a plan. At 100 hours, the plan showed itself. Command, I have movement on multiple directions, Aria reported. North, east, and west approaches. They're organizing a 3-sided attack. How many total? Aria counted carefully, comparing heat readings with what she could see through her scope during short breaks in the snow. At least 50 fighters. Probably more. She heard Keller curse quietly. They brought more people. Must have used the storm to move forces we could not see. A pause. All positions. Prepare for organized attack. Hale, your priority is finding enemy leaders and heavy weapons. You are allowed to shoot high-value targets on your own judgment. Understood, sir. The enemy attacked at 0127 hours. And this time they were smarter. Instead of running straight at them, they used covering fire to keep defenders down, while small teams moved through the blizzard, using blind spots and gaps in coverage. Aria watched it happen, calling out movements and helping coordinate defensive fire. But she held her shots, waiting for the right moment. Nathan's voice echoed in her memory. Patience kills more enemy than bullets. Wait for the shot that matters. The shot that mattered came at 0156 hours. Through a brief opening in the snow, Aria spotted an enemy commander directing a side attack from the ruins of a fallen barn. He was using a radio, coordinating many units, making himself the center of their whole operation. Command, I have eyes on enemy leadership. Barn ruins, 700 meters north. He is coordinating their whole attack. Request permission to shoot. Granted, Keller said right away. Take the shot. Aria settled into position, controlling her breathing, feeling the rhythm of the wind. The target was partly hidden, talking on radio. Completely unaware he had been spotted, she squeezed the trigger. The rifle kicked. Through the scope, she saw the commander drop, his radio falling into the snow. For 5 seconds, nothing changed. Then the organized attack began falling apart as smaller units lost direction and started making their own decisions that did not work together. Target down, Aria reported. Enemy coordination is breaking down. Confirmed. All positions push forward. The battle turned again. Without central coordination, enemy forces could not keep the pressure needed to break through defensive positions. Individual units pulled back, looking for cover and trying to get their command structure back. Aria took 3 more shots over the next hour, each one carefully chosen, each one targeting someone who was a direct threat to her teammates or civilians. A machine gunner setting up in a window, an explosives expert moving with bombs toward a civilian shelter, a sniper trying to set up position in the mill ruins. 4 shots, for kills, for decisions she would carry forever. By 0400 hours, the attack had completely fallen apart. Enemy forces pulled back into the forest, leaving behind equipment and casualties. The village held, beaten up and exhausted, but still standing. As gray morning light began coming through the storm, Aria climbed down from the tower. Her hands shook from cold and excitement. Her shoulder hurt from the rifle kicking back. But she had done her job. Keller met her at the bottom. His face was gray with tiredness, but his eyes were sharp. 4 confirmed kills, all high-value targets. You changed that fight, Hale. Just did what needed doing, sir. That is the job, Keller agreed. Get warm, eat, then back up at 0800. Aria nodded and walked toward the shelter, feeling the night's weight settling into her bones. She had proven she could do the job. Now she had to prove she could keep doing it. Nathan's notebook waited in her pack, full of wisdom from someone who had walked this path. She would read it again, learning what she could, because the enemy was not done. They would be back with more forces and better plans. And when they came, Aria would be waiting in that tower, rifle ready, making the choices nobody should have to make. But somebody had to.